There we go. Welcome, everyone. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Ira Mihal, and I serve as the Assistant Director of Alumni Engagement here at Emory University. Before we get started, I'd like to share a few quick housekeeping announcements. The views and opinions expressed in the Learning Development webinars are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the official policies, positions, or views of Emory University, the Emory Alumni Association, or their affiliates. The content provided is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as an endorsement. To minimize disruptions, we ask that you keep your microphones muted, but we do encourage you to keep your cameras on and fully engage in the conversation and share questions through the chat box. Please also stay tuned for a few announcements at the end of the session. And at this time, I'm going to pass it along to one of our alumni career coaches, Sarah Baker Coombs, to get us started. Sarah?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad that you're able to join us. It's good to see so many joining live, and I know some are watching the recording, so I see you guys, and thank you for participating on your own time, too. Please continue to throw in the chat where you're calling in from, and would also love to hear what your goal is in joining this session, what attracted you. And we'll jump in because we've got a robust agenda. So excited to dive into this networking masterclass with you. During the session, we're going to identify the elements of an effective networking conversation. So specifically, we'll dive into mindset, clarity, communication. We will do a networking practice lab, which is a really cool breakout activity. Whoops. So consider this your 10 to 15 minute warning that if you're not on camera, you may want to be to participate fully in the program, or in the breakout, but it's not required. And we'll also cover how to connect in person and virtually, how those may differ, how to maintain warm connections. And then at the end, I also put together an Emory exclusive gift, so you'll want to stay tuned for that as well. Love the intro. It's awesome. Thank you guys for sharing those. And as you put more in, as you know, every good networking conversation starts with sharing a little bit of information about yourself, asking questions about others so you can find common ground and begin to build those effective relationships. So here's a little bit about me. If we have anything in common, in addition to Emory, I would love to know, so let me know in the chat. But I graduated from Emory in 2020. Great year, highly recommend. Curious if anyone else is a 2020 grad. But I was doing my MBA in the evenings while working full-time at Emory as Director of Alumni Career Services in the Central Alumni Association office. I also coached the Emory crew team. I helped restart that team. So if there's any rowers here, let me know. For the past 4 years, I've been a recruiter for McKinsey and Company and also an executive coach internally. So you can see me up on the right about to recruit some lovely nerdy humans at MIT. Did Duke for undergrad, and I have a 2-year-old who's much older than he looks in that picture on bottom left. So if you're a parent, let me know. And my husband is military. He's a Marine veteran, and I know we've got a bunch of military veterans in our Emory community. So great to meet you guys. Excited to have you here. And I'm just going to check the chat. Okay, awesome goals. Yeah, totally, Megan. Definitely a tricky time in public health. Okay, wonderful. So the first element of effective networking that we're going to talk about today is clarity. So when you're thinking about networking, ideally these conversations are relationships that are going to move you towards your goal. So you're either, maybe you're looking for a job or you're considering a career transition. You're not ready to move yet, but you're exploring engaging options. And you do want to know before you start reaching out and building these relationships, you want to know kind of your North Star and your main direction. So think about it if you're trying to hike up a mountain towards your goal. If you know that the top of the mountain is north, you can ask people on the trail, hey, what way is north? Versus if you have no idea where you're going yet and you don't have any clarity on your direction, people might point you to a cool waterfall that's south, that's in the opposite direction of what you actually want to move. So making sure that you have some clarity before you start will be key. And otherwise, it's kind of just a conversation, which we all know post-COVID, still valuable human interaction. We all need to connect with each other, but it's not going to be as effective in moving you. Also, I'm noticing my screen is freezing. Can you guys still hear me? Can I get like a thumbs up? Yeah, okay, awesome.
Yes,
I connected on my phone. All right, we'll count that as just like extra amusement if I get frozen in a really cool face. You're welcome. So once you have some general clarity on the direction you want to move, that's where we start actually beginning to outreach. And one of the key things that I notice in a lot of my executive coaching clients who are considering a career transition is that the mindset, getting your mindset right before you start networking is crucial. Because if you don't have your subconscious mind working with you, it's going to work against you. And all of these networking tactics are kind of useless unless your mindset is in the right place. So one of the main things that I want to make sure we all walk away with is that people like to help others. If you think about like a time that you've helped or supported someone else, or if someone has asked you about your job and takes an interest in your career, you know, like that feels good, right? It's affirming of your life choices. And everyone needs help at some point. So I'm sure someone was once in your shoes and that person helped them no matter how high the leader is or what position there is. So always maintaining that mindset of it's a mutually supportive relationship and a good gut check whenever you're thinking about like, or you're feeling, you know, uncertain about if it's okay to reach out to somebody. You can think about, if someone asked me for this, would I say yes? And oftentimes what I see with Emory alums is that they're more willing to give help than they are willing to ask for the same thing. So just think about that in reverse. If someone asks me for 20 minutes of my time for a phone call to talk about my job function because they're really excited about breaking into my field, you'd probably say yes. And in reverse, if someone sent you 10 emails in a row and asked for 2 hours of your time driving across like OTP, you'd probably say no, right? Like you know, and you, uh-oh. I think I just got kicked out of the Zoom. Can someone come off mute and tell me if they can still hear me? My phone's connected, but my video just takes me out.
We hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to keep talking while the video, it looks like it's trying to reconnect. So hopefully the phone doesn't kick out.
Sarah, don't worry. I'll let you know if we lose sound.
Thank you. So that's a good gut check. If somebody asked me for this, would I say yes? If somebody asked me in this way, would I feel comfortable? The other pieces of mindset, it's important to stay curious and open. So we all know in the age of AI, roles exist today that did not exist yesterday. And so knowing the direction you want to move is important in networking. For that example of like, I want to go north, but being really, really specific with the exact role and exact company is sometimes limiting because it might turn out that there's really amazing, great fit opportunities for your strengths and what energizes you that you don't know about because the job was just made like, you know, a year ago or a couple months ago. And then the last two pieces with mindset is that you want to remember that you are a puzzle master. So when you're having networking conversations, think about it as gathering data, little puzzle pieces. Oh, you know what? You guys can't see my screen
Sarah,
either. Can you see the presentation? I was just thinking that. Okay, hang on. I'm going to try to log out of the Zoom, guys, and see if I can come back. Otherwise, it's going to be a podcast. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to email you, Erin. Can I email you the slides? And if you share them, just in case it kicks me out again?
Perfect.
Okay, give me a moment. And while I do that, if you guys see any connections in common with each other in the chat, I encourage you to send them a direct message and let them know. This is not just a learning opportunity. We want you guys to also be able to connect with each other. All right, I just sent the slides. I'm going to try to log back into the Zoom too.
Okay. We appreciate your patience, everyone. Thank you.
And if you are able to load the slides, just let me know. I can tell you the slide number.
Okay.
Oh, I might be back too on the Zoom. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to still come through. The email hasn't come through yet.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
Okay, I am back. Iram, do you mind allowing me to share again? It's not letting me share.
I just gave you permission.
Thank you.
Then let me go ahead and make you a co-host again.
You know what? It's freezing again. I think we should just have you do the slides.
All right, so I just made you a co-host.
Okay, it kicked me out again. So why don't we just have you do the
Okay,
slides?
let me
And
see if they came through because the email hadn't come through yet, so I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Okay, we can see the PowerPoint now.
Oh, your slides are loaded. Are you freezing still? Did it kick her out again? No, I see. Oh, she's muted.
okay, I'm back. We got it.
Okay,
I'm going to
perfect.
add
So,
element of effective networking, flexibility, and patience. So thanks, guys. Okay. So moving on, here are a couple examples of things that I have heard from my coaching clients. So these are like the first example here, this important person won't want to meet with me. This was from someone who was like 24, working at JP Morgan, like younger professional, wonderful person, and was afraid to even try and ask. And if you don't ask, if the person wants to meet, then the outcome is you're not going to meet with them. If you ask, you may and you may not, right? So it's always worth an ask. The second one came 2 weekends ago. I was presenting at Duke Women's Weekend, and this woman she runs this like massive nonprofit, like a global nonprofit, huge job. She's thinking about pivoting, and she told me that she hadn't reached out to her very vast and powerful network yet because she felt like she needed to know everything about a job before reaching out so that she had something to contribute to the conversation, which if you feel like you know everything there is to know about a company or a job, then like there's no point in meeting with the person anyway, right? Like that is the point, is that it's information gathering. So you want to have that general direction clarity, but you don't need to know all of the specifics. Also, I hear this a lot from folks who've been looking for a while for roles. It's like the last two conversations went nowhere, this one will too. You only need one conversation to go really well. And typically it usually is the secondary and tertiary connections that are the most useful when you think about, connecting with hiring managers or exploring really great fit opportunities. So even if some of the conversations don't go well, if one goes well, that's all you need. So these are just some examples of limiting beliefs, and I'm curious if this pops up anything for you. Just know that you are not alone, especially in a place like Emory where we're all very high achieving and very service oriented with the main public health background, I think these pop up a lot for us. But if you can move through these and allow yourself, like take that courageous leap to reach out to people, so much good is on the other side and really accelerating your visibility in a career search. Oh, were you trying to tell me, Kita, that it's not changing slides? Okay, hang on. Oh, goodness, guys. Let me see what's going on. Okay, now is it changing slides? You can see the limiting beliefs. Okay, amazing. All right, so one of the last elements I want to talk about before we go into the breakout rooms is that clarity piece again. So what I mean by clarity is when you're able to know that direction you're able to go, again, people can really help you. So I have a couple examples of some of my clients. One client, Douglas, had came to me, and when he first met with me, this was actually the guy who was working at JP Morgan. So he was saying, I'm thinking about applying to my MBA, but I think this would be a really costly way to push back the self-reflection I need to have. So we worked together for about a month. And after working together to really clarify exactly like what energized him and what, you know, would define success for him in this next chapter, he realized that actually he did want to go to business school, but it was to focus specifically on pivoting into a different industry. He realized he was really excited about entrepreneurship. And so he was able to apply to schools that had those programs, were known for that specialty. I did push Goizueta. He didn't go for it, but, you know. And so the idea of knowing where you want to go helps a lot, because then you are asking, like he was connecting with people at MBA programs who are in programs that had strong entrepreneurship. And overall, also, I just want to add, make sure that as you're chatting with people, you're using your gut to assess whether or not that person's advice really resonates with your own definition of success and how you want to build your career and your life. For example, I have a client who's a special operator. He's transitioning out of the military. He's retiring. And it was really challenging for him to make the decision to retire. And he ended up asking his superiors if they thought that he should leave the military and get a civilian career, if he should stay in. And of course, when you ask your superiors who have chosen to stay in, they're going to say, you should stay in. So this was like deeply concerning to him. And we had a conversation about how when he looked at their life and their lifestyle choices, it actually didn't align with the life that he wanted to build. It was one of those good for them, not for me situations. So keep in mind that as you network, it's great to gather this data, and then you get to decide what you're going to do, how you're going to use that data to move forward and make your own decisions with your career moves and transitions. And I want to jump up. It's not changing again. Hang on. We're going to jump into our activity, which won't require screens. Yay. And hang on, let me see if we can get the next one. So our activity that we're about to do is we're going to go into breakout rooms, and we're going to practice and see the value and power of the Emory Network in real time. So all of us on the line, we're Emory alums, and this is like, it's such a cool, special community to be a part of. And so the exercise that Kate and I are going to run shortly, I'll give you the instructions once I can get the slide to load. But in the interim, I would love to introduce our guest star, Kate. Kate Castellaro is a fellow coach who did the MBA or the Goizueta Executive Coaching Certification Program with me. And I asked her to come in and help facilitate one of the breakout rooms. Kate, do you want to give a quick intro?
Yeah, hi everybody. Excited to be here. As Sarah mentioned, we met a few years ago in our coaching certification program. I have my own coaching and consulting business. I spent over a decade in Deloitte at the human capital practice there, and then worked in a boutique consulting firm. And now I've launched my own work. I do work in leadership development, executive coaching, team effectiveness, and helping leaders and teams navigate through change. So I'm excited to be here and be in the breakout room with y'all.
Thank you so much, Kate. So here is, hang on, let me make sure you guys can see. Oh, you can't. Okay. I'm going to pull up the slide so you can see the instructions. I'm also going to put it in the chat. Let me do that for us. So this activity, one second. Okay, so if you look in the chat, you can see the activity. And I'm going to try one more time to screen share, but in case it doesn't work, here's what we're going to do. We are going to divide up for 2 10-minute, so 20-minute total. Oh, amazing, Aram. Okay, thank you. That would be great if we could just do the slides on yours because I don't know what's happening. So this activity is 10 minutes per spotlight. So we're going to need 2 people per group. So we have 4 spotlight opportunities available. And how it works is we're going to tap into the expertise in the room. So one person is going to be courageous and they're going to step into the spotlight and they're going to have 60 seconds to share their challenge or the help that they might need as a quote client considering a career transition. So this might look like, you know, hey, I'm Sarah, I currently work at McKinsey, but I am considering going full-time as an executive coach, launching a business, you know, kind of stuck on if I want to coach internally or do a business. This is something I might have said like a year or 2 ago when I was at my transition point. So then after 60 seconds of sharing in the spotlight, the rest of the group, so we'll have the rest of us serve as community members or consultants, and we're going to ask clarifying questions. So this might look like, you know, what do you actually want to get out of the spotlight? Or, you know, you said you want to work in tech. Are you excited about big companies or small companies? Any kind of clarifying questions that's going to help. And as they ask, the client can answer quickly. So make sure it's like an easy to answer question, but they'll just answer back and forth for about 2 minutes. Then the person in the spotlight is going to turn off their video and microphone. And the reason why we do that is if you can't see someone's face as they respond to the suggestions and advice, it just keeps it like a more creative flow. So the rest of our community members in the breakout room, you're going to generate ideas, suggestions, something they said might have sparked like, oh my gosh, I know this person, or my neighbor does this, or have you checked out this company? It sounds aligned with what you're looking for. So we're going to generate ideas for this person to follow up on. And remember that this is all in the spirit of, you know, curiosity and generosity. We're not trying to like fix or solution for the person. We're just coming up with suggestions of things they might want to consider exploring that might be supportive. And then at the end of that 6 minutes, we will turn on the video and the camera. The person in the spotlight will rejoin us and they will share what was most valuable about the experience and their key takeaway. Any questions on this activity before we go and divide up into 2 breakout rooms and run it?
This meant to be in cycles, or is it going to be an exercise where it's one and done?
Great question. So we're going to run it twice because it takes about 10 minutes each. So we'll run it twice and 2 spotlights will happen. So 2 people get to step into the spotlight per breakout room, and then the rest will serve as community. Okay. So Erin, when you're ready, if you want to open up the breakout room, so Kate and I will each take one, and then we'll keep these instructions. We'll put them back in the chat so that you have it. And think as you go into your breakout room if you want to volunteer for one of those 2 spotlights. We'll see y'all soon.
It was supposed to auto assign, but it didn't. So I am gonna randomly do assignments.
Okay. Kate, I'm going to join the second room. I just labeled them. So if you want to join the first one.
We still have some that are unassigned.
Sorry, my battery died and it kicked me out of the Zoom.
Uh,
So let me see if I think she hopped out and is gonna try to hop back in.
Freaked out for the 10th time. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I might just need to email this stuff out for like the top tips, if that's helpful, because I know we're running. Let's run through, if you go one slide over, Aram, to the next one. Okay, so main takeaway on this slide, when you're engaging virtually, just make sure that it is personal. So the example on the left is one that I responded to. This is someone who reached out to me this summer after I launched my coaching business. They had been one of my candidates when I was recruiting for McKinsey. They saw another opportunity that they wanted to apply to, and they wrote like this really nice note infusing all of these personal things, which was great. So I responded to him. I connected him with a colleague who was hiring for the role that he was excited about, and he got into the recruiting process. I did not respond to the guy on the right who said it would be worthwhile for us to have a conversation, total stranger, I don't know what you do, and he signed it burst. So no, if you aren't specific, then it gives nobody, like no one's gonna know why they should actually connect. Okay, next slide, please. And then maintaining the relationships is so important. So we're putting in so much effort on the front end to find great people to connect with who, fit with the industries that you're thinking about and the companies. And the key is to keep these relationships warm, because oftentimes it's like, 6 months, 8 months down the road when someone that you had connected with before who heard about what you were looking for and excited about pivoting into, something opens up in their organization, or a friend mentions something at brunch about, and they will think of you and ping you about it if that relationship is still warm. So this is an example. This girl who emailed it to me, she's 19, like Duke undergrad, was so impressed with what she had shared. So I had connected her with a colleague for a conversation about a specific role, and she circled back to let me know how the conversation had gone. And because she did that, now I'm even more motivated to support her again in the future, because I know that she followed up and I know that it was useful. Okay, we can keep going. So in summary, we want to get our mindset right, and then use your clarity to be really clear about what you're looking for so people can help steer you towards your North Star, if you will, that kind of career goal and definition of success. You want to find those aligned people and reach out. Emory Network is a great place to start. Communicate effectively in person and virtually, and keep those relationships warm. And if you go to the next slide, Iram, I think that's probably the last one for us. Awesome, thank you. So this is an exclusive gift for you all. So this is my powerful questions guide on how to turn a 20-minute conversation into a career breakthrough. So we're going to email this out after as well, but if you scan the QR code, you can load it. I had hundreds of informational interviews that conducted, honestly, probably more than hundreds, when I was a McKinsey recruiter and when I was serving as director of alumni career services. And so I put together my top 10 game-changing questions to actually get a better understanding of role fit, and a better understanding of the company needs, so you can show up and really excel in interviews and just get a better general direction of what you want to apply. For example, one of the questions in there is, what's one thing I should know about this role that nobody else will tell me? I love this question. I've asked it in every interview that I've done personally, and I've gotten answers like, this manager is the best leader I've ever seen in my entire professional career. And so that helped me choose the job. Even though I was a little uncertain about job function, I really wanted a good manager. And so I took that role. I had somebody else say, nobody will tell you that it was a career counseling position at a university. And they said, there's a lot of students who come and cry in your office. And that was very shocking to me. And so for me, I was like, that sounds great. That means you're a safe space on campus where they can be vulnerable and open. But for others, that might sound terrible. And you don't know those kind of things about the role unless you ask. So there's 9 other questions like that in there. And I will email this out along with my contact information and Kate's contact information so you guys can stay in touch. And I'll pass it back to Iram to wrap it up.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Let's see. Let's stop sharing so you guys can hear me. Thank you all so much for being here today, and thank you, Kate, for stepping in and helping with the breakout sessions, and Sarah, thank you for your time. Once I end the meeting, you will get a pop-up of a survey. Please, it's very short, very quick. Please fill it out. We do read those. I personally read those myself, and we implement your suggestions. Our next session is March 24th. It's with Hallie Crawford, and it is on 10 transferable skills. So if you're looking to change jobs or transition, excuse me, be sure to join us there. And thank you again for being here. Have a great day, everyone.
Yep. And Erin, do you mind if I just speak quickly to the question in the chat about clarity? Because that's a good one.
Sure.
So how do you get clarity? That is something I have a 3-phase program with my coaching clients, and we spend an entire month on clarity because it is not easy. So I would say if you're struggling to figure out how you want to define success at this stage in your career, what that actually looks like, that's a really good space to connect with either me or any of the other Emory alumni coaches. We're happy to support you there. Okay, thank you guys again for hanging in there. This was wild, and I appreciate you coming along for the ride. Thank you.
Bye, all.
Thank you. Take care.
Yes, and thank you again. And like I said, there will be a follow-up email with Sarah's contact information. So if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to her. She is one of our alumni career coaches. So you can request a coaching, complete the career counseling request, and we can connect you with her for your complimentary session for alumni.